Good evening. Hope you're having a good night. Just wanted to talk about a direct message I got on Twitter last night. And it's also related to a lot of the content we talk about in our Business of Farming course that is going to launch here shortly for the first and only time in 2019. And that is, somebody asked me how I would value irrigated ground versus dryland ground. And this goes back to a calculation called NPV, net present value. What is the net present value of a series of cash flows over time? And for the purposes of calculating it on farmland, we're going to assume that this is a long-lived asset. And so here's a really simple calculation you can do. You take the income stream going forward and you divide that by your cost of capital. For the purposes of this, we want to make an estimate of what our net income would be on the irrigated ground minus the dryland ground. So what is our net income increase on the irrigated ground? Not just gross income, but net income. So there's obviously going to be some expenses associated with operating the pivot, utilities, potentially some increased variable costs, some depreciation on the pivot itself, maybe like a risk cost depending on the status of the well. And so let's assume our net income increase is $100 and our interest rate, our cost of capital, is 5%. So if we take 100 divided by 5%, that gives us $2,000. And so I'm not saying that irrigated ground is always worth $2,000 more, but if you take the income stream divided by the interest rate or the cost of capital, that is what the value of that income stream is today. The net present value is the concept that basically is what that calculation is. So have a good night.